Here's what's making news now around Indiana. In Lake County, Maryville-based White Lodging Services has pulled the plug on plans to develop the 40-acre site where the Star Plaza Theater once stood. Last year, the company proposed a $365 million complex, the Farms at Crossroad Commons, which would have included 4 hotels, an event center, and numerous restaurants. Our partners at the Times of Northwest Indiana report the plan stalled when the Lake County Council pushed back at a $75 million incentive package White Lodging was asking for. In Southwest Indiana, Indianapolis Power and Light Company will soon retire 2 coal-fired units at its Petersburg generating station in Pike County. As part of the utility's integrated resource plan, IPL says it will begin looking for an energy replacement to fill the capacity gap. Once those 2 are retired, that could come in the form of a combination of wind, solar, and storage resources. Just 9 months after breaking ground, Lafayette-based Subaru of Indiana Automotive has opened its new $2 million plus technical training center. The project includes classrooms, an enhanced computer lab, and simulated factory floor. It also features robots, assembly line simulators, and hands-on workspace for the advanced internship in manufacturing program. The first and second rounds of the 2022 NCAA Men's Division I Basketball Championship will be played in Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis rather than Cincinnati as originally planned. According to a statement from the NCAA, the switch is being made to allow for additional time for ongoing renovations at the newly named Heritage Bank Center in Cincinnati. The NCAA says Cincinnati will have the opportunity to bid on future tournament rounds. Well, it's an in-between the holidays hoops tradition and attracts some of the very best girls and boys high school basketball teams in Indiana. Bill Benner has more in this week's Inside Indiana Sports. Bill.
Thanks, Kerry. For the 43rd time for the boys and the 36th go-around for the girls, the Raymond James Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame Classic will take place December 28th and 27th and 28th at the famed Newcastle Fieldhouse, the Hall of Fame's neighbor. And joining us today to preview the Classic as well as discuss the recently announced Class of 2020 Hall of Fame inductees is Executive Director Chris May. And Chris, welcome, always to see you. Always nice to see you coming over from Newcastle. I didn't realize, and this event had been around for so long. It started in 1977 at Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Absolutely. Over 40 years of high school basketball tradition in this tournament. This will be the 30th consecutive year it's played at the Newcastle Fieldhouse. Great teams, great players, and we're proud of this year's lineup as well.
Yeah, and generally you do. I mean, it's become a kind of a, for the top teams, top players, they want to be part of this event.
These are players you're going to see on the college landscape and the professional landscape throughout the history of our tournament. Players like Steve Alford and Damon Bailey and Glenn Robinson and Sean Kemp and so on and so forth.
And that Romeo guy, too,
and
right?
Amongst current NBA players, a lineup of Trey Lyles and Romeo Langford and Cody Zeller and Gary Harris and on and on and on. So yes, a lot of great tradition and teams that are likely going to make long runs in the state tournament and state championship caliber teams that are coming to Newcastle.
Yeah, well, in the boys field, you got the defending 3A state champs Silver Creek. They're taking on Heritage Hill. And then number 1, Lawrence Central, may be replaced by number 1, taking on Lafayette Jeff.
Yeah, all 4 of those teams are in the top 20 of the all-class high school boys state poll, and they've all got great returning talent. Between our girls and boys lineup combined, we think we've got at least 10, maybe a dozen Division I future college basketball players. So each of those teams stocked with talent and very highly ranked and anticipating their appearances.
Yeah, and on the girls' side, Brownsburg versus Penn, again, great programs. And the current number 1, Crown Point from up in northern Indiana, taking on Salem.
And all 4 of those girls' teams are in the top 14 in the state poll this week, so they're having great seasons, great starts for them.
December always a busy, well, you're always busy, Chris, but a particularly busy month because you roll out the 2020 inductees, and not to single out anybody among all those greats, but among the names that people would recognize. Lyndon Jones from Marion, a great player.
Yeah, his place in Indiana basketball history is for Marion, the high school state championships of 1985, 86, and 87. He's one of only 3 men to start on 3 consecutive one-class high school state championship teams.
And Alan Darner will be on from the coaching side.
Great coaching success. Anderson Highland, Pike, a couple of championships at Pike as well. Yes, representing the coaching side.
And you mentioned before we went on the air, because of the Hall of Fame Classic, it's the 2 biggest days of the year for the actual Hall of Fame museum.
The museum will be abuzz, especially in between sessions. sessions were formatted. We started at 11 o'clock during the day session, 6 o'clock at night, and that gives folks a chance to come to the museum, see what's new, see what's different, and regale in all the great Indiana basketball history that we have on display.
And among the new things you have is it's called the Hoosier Hardwood Photo Project. And you've got a couple of veteran photographers who have taken classic pictures of some of the classic gyms around the state of Indiana.
Yes, Michael Keating and Chris Smith are retired professional photographers. They've spent the past 6 years photographing gymnasiums, both currently in use for high schools, but also schools that closed to consolidation, people that have kept gyms standing and in good condition all over the state of Indiana. And it's been immensely popular. We have 96 of their large color photos backlit in our gallery, and it's been a huge draw.
Okay, two things as we wrap up. Number one, if you want to be in attendance, you want people in attendance at Newcastle, how do you get tickets?
It's an important fundraiser for us. Tickets are online at hoopshall.com, also through the participating schools.
But if you can't make it, you just signed a new agreement through the IHSAA, and locally Channel 23 will be carrying all the games.
We certainly want people in the stands, but if they can't, in today's digital world, we're online, IHSA TV app, smart TVs, smart devices, also social media, Facebook, Twitter, and with Circle City Broadcasting on MyIndy23, all 8 games live on the air.
All right, Chris May from the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame, folks, we're Hoosiers. The Hall of Fame is us, so support it. Thanks, Chris.
Thank
Gary,
you.
Back to you.